All right. Black and Blue Podcast back with episode 10. Today we have a guest. The title, I guess I should go into the title of episode 9.
Episode 10.
Episode 10. We're just going to keep it going.
Yeah.
Potato quality, because Emmett, water on the, or no, coffee on the thing now. And this episode is Meet Maven.
Yeah.
Not even.
Not even.
Yeah.
Let's get that confusion out of the way.
Yeah. Avon will be on it later. But we got Maven here. She dropped in for our open mat, and I couldn't resist getting a podcast done. And yeah, we pulled it together. Again, hopefully the audio is better on this one. Potato quality camera, but it's all good. We have Maven here.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself.
Well, it's lovely to be here. This is my first time podcasting. But yeah, I started off in my jiu-jitsu journey actually in Canmore. So I say I'm an alumni.
Yeah.
And I now live in Camrose and have been training for 4.5 years, just over.
Yeah. Still have the Bow Valley Jiu Jitsu rash guard too.
They're actually my favorite. I really like long sleeves, and our gym doesn't bring in any long sleeve rash guards, so I'm just stuck repping the old Bow Valley Jiu Jitsu brand.
Come on, Ryan. Get that rash guard. Long sleeve. Let's go.
It's because you don't have sleeve tattoos. Anyone who has sleeve tattoos likes short rash guards. They like to show off the sleeve tattoos. So
just one sleeve, though.
Yeah.
Get one long sleeve, one short sleeve.
And today the podcast is actually black and blue and purple. So we'll get used to how that sounds, throwing the purple in there.
I don't know.
I'm breaking all the rules already.
All of this.
Yeah. I'm going to shut it off right now.
And so, Maven, how long have you been a purple belt?
I just got my purple belt back in December, so I've been a purple belt for like 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And kicking ass.
It's kind of been a whirlwind. I was super shocked to get my purple belt. We had a seminar and promotion day, and I was a 2-stripe blue belt, and I was just kind of coming to grips with like, I'm probably not going to quit at blue belt. I think I can stick this out. I've kind of made it past the hard part of blue belt blues. I'd really love to get a stripe. And then at the end they called me up. They're like, Maven. And I was like, you've already handed out all your stripes. Like, what's going on? They gave me my purple belt. So that was crazy. And then a couple, like maybe a month, 2 months later, I had my purple belt debut in a competition. And I did 2 back-to-back competitions over 2 weekends. And yeah, I was purple belt, so that was really
You're hanging out sub ace. You're rocking it. So that was awesome to see. I was proud. It was like, I know that I'm not the coach, but just as the coach of the beginning of your journey, and just seeing you like how well you were moving and how well you're stringing submissions and attacks and all that together, I was like, proud coach moment. Even though I'm not like full-time coach, I'll take some responsibility. Some.
Yeah, I mean, you got me hooked on jiu-jitsu, so that's a big thing.
So first of all, I love 2 stripes to purple. Just throwing that out there.
Halfway there, basically.
That's a great progression. Love it. If you're ever thinking about new ways, new approaches, Travis.
You got the thin stripes, so that goes to show.
And to be clear, I actually am I'm a 1-stripe blue belt at the moment. So
now that second stripe is going to be long as time.
You might get 5 or 6 stripes by the time before you get your purple. Yeah.
But can you actually expand on what you were saying about the hard part of the blue belt blues? So what was that like for you, that part of that journey?
Yeah, man. Plateaus in jiu-jitsu are so real. And I think when you first start out, it's like really exciting. You get to meet new people, you join a community, and I learned lots of things really quickly, and I wasn't necessarily good or winning matches, but I was just like learning super fast. And I think as you level up, it's harder to tell when you get better. And it's not necessarily like, whoa, I learned how to do an armbar today. It's like, oh, I have a slightly better base than I did last week, and I didn't get swept in this specific position, or I remembered to stop somebody's arm from grabbing my neck in this very specific position. And it's like all those tiny little progressions that slowly add up and then make your game really jump forward. And even so, like my most recent game development basically was learning headquarters and a whole bunch of different passes from headquarters. And I like didn't really realize it was happening at the time. It was just like my coach brought me aside and was like, "Man, your headquarters is really good. You should keep working on that." And I was like, "Oh, okay, sure. I
Well,
guess
so your
so."
coach gives you like compliments and stuff.
She's got a good coach.
And she's
got a
good at
coach.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. I
There's
get it.
there's some positive feedback.
Huh, okay.
Zero here. Zero feedback. Zero anything positive. It's like, Emmett, just get better. Come on.
Suck less.
Yeah. Watch our YouTube channel to figure out a
Yeah.
technique. Come on.
I like suck less, just like from across the room. And then, yeah, coach, suck less. Okay.
Okay, right on.
Just hangs the head.
On it.
That's all I'm gonna say from now on.
I've gotten that advice before. Like my favorite, when you're like, "How do you get out of this spot?" or "How do you do better in this spot?" They're like, "Don't get in that spot." You're like,
Yeah.
"Okay, thank you." So let's say if you were really bad and you get in that spot, then what do you do?
and so what got you over the hump of that frustration? Asking for a friend.
Yeah, man, I just keep showing up.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite parts about jiu-jitsu is like when you don't feel like working out, you go to jiu-jitsu to hang out with your friends. And when you don't feel like being around people because you've had a hard day, you go to the gym to get out of your head and stuff. So either way, you end up at the gym, and I think that's really important for me. So yeah, either way, I ended up there, which was exactly where I needed to be. And I think that's my only advice. It doesn't matter if you're winning or losing, or even I think like my most recent progression, I would say, is becoming a coach. So now I'm coaching the women's only program at our gym, and it's really helped my personal game, but it's also really emotionally fulfilling to give back to the jiu-jitsu community and to get more women and more people interested in the sport and learning. So
that's great.
I was actually stoked when I saw that you were opening that up. I was like, this is awesome. You're going to be a great teacher. And I just knew that it would like expand from there. Let's do a shout out. What gym?
Yeah, so I train at Modern Vision Movements, which is a GF team gym out of Camrose, not Canmore, which is often confused with each other. Either are good.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, if you want positive feedback, MVM.
Yeah.
If you want get better feedback.
If you want to get muffler.
Dark Horse. Yeah.
Dark Horse. Yeah.
But yeah, MVM under Ryan
Sandberg. Yeah.
He's an awesome dude. I've rolled with him a bunch, and yeah, he's just a great coach.
Yeah, so. I think one of the similarities between the two gyms is that they're both very welcoming, like easy to talk to Travis and to Ryan, and like a very supportive environment. Nobody's out there to kill you, and if they try, Ryan and Travis will beat them up for you. So.
Oh yeah, that's probably my favorite one. When like I see someone going to art, I'm like, okay, I'll show you what that's about.
I will be the mat enforcer.
Yeah, and like Carter only comes like once a week now. So since he's only coming once a week, I'm like, okay, I guess I can be the mat enforcer. Because it's good to have Carter here because he's shorter, and it's like put Carter on him, and Carter will wrap him up 10 ways from Tuesdays.
Yeah,
good that way. But yeah, once he starts coming back more, we get Carter being the mat enforcer, and I can be the guy that just smiles and yells at Emmett to get better.
One day I hope to graduate to mat enforcer. Yeah,
it's a pretty cool title. Like I think it's kind of cool. I'm like sometimes mat enforcer. There's another girl who's usually our mat enforcer, but she works a lot, and it's so fun when a new person comes in and Ryan, like winks at me, fingers me over, and is like, "You're gonna roll with Maven next time." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is gonna be fun."
You're just like,
yeah. She's like, oh yeah, let's go.
I'm warmed up.
But it's cool to have like that female, like you're smaller, and it's like, okay, Maven, go tune up that guy that thinks he just sees red kind of thing. Yeah. Or like we have Avon, who's an excellent example too, like a little bit smaller, but it's like, okay, Avon, go tune that guy up, show him what it's about.
Such a savage.
Oh, and it's
so nice and smiling the whole time.
Yeah, and laughing. She's really like dug into that like whole let's have fun with this, but I'm gonna wreck you. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
So do you like how long ago did you start your journey? That would have been 5-6 years ago? Yeah,
so I started officially training jiu-jitsu in June of 2020. So that's been just over 4.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of a funny story how I started jiu-jitsu. So I had like probably 3 different friends on different occasions. They didn't know each other, all tell me, Maven, you would love jiu-jitsu. You should come with me. You should try it. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. And then, I mean, COVID happened, and one of my friends laid out some old gym mats on a hillside, and she beat me up for about an hour. And that was the day I was like, I need to figure this out. And I need to learn, because I'm a pretty athletic person. I've spent years beating up my little brother. Like, this shouldn't happen to me. And she just kept taking my back and choking me out and breaking my arms and breaking my legs. I was like, this is wild. And she wasn't even breaking a sweat. So then I found Travis and I was like, okay, teach me all the things I need to learn this. And so now we roll together still, and we have really competitive rounds. So that's lots of fun.
That's
So
awesome.
what was it about your personality that they knew that jiu-jitsu would appeal to you?
I have no idea.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Honestly, when she came in and like took her like first class, I was like, damn, like you just have a good base. Like, and it was weird because most new people are like awkward, moving around. Weird. You had a good base and like you moved your hips properly. I think I was like, do you dance? What do you do beyond this? Because it felt like a break dancer or someone that knows how to move, or a gymnast. And that's just how you moved your body. I was like, this is awesome. And like,
Whereas when I came in, he was like, have you ever walked or moved before?
I was like, man, you look familiar. You look like that slug guy from Futurama.
Have you ever made any physical movements before? Yeah.
You started boxing though.
I did, yeah.
You started.
I started in the kickboxing. Yeah. Yeah. That was fun too. Yeah, I want to come back and do that sometimes just for fun. But,
Yeah. I think Craig put out a challenge to you too.
Did he?
Yeah, he was like, so if I beat Emmett, do I get his blue belt? I was like, dude, Emmett will wreck you. He's training at like some McDojo right now, and he's like learning karate power stances. And I'm like, Craig, Emmett will straight up murk you right now. You got to start training harder at a good gym. And he's like, oh,
Maven, one day we're gonna do like a McDojo episode, just talking about like all the McDojo stuff out there and like the chi moves and stuff like that. But
dude, okay, backstory. When I was like, because I'm a big Dragon Ball nerd, I wished so hard that could be true. I was just like, man, how cool would it be if you're just like, boom.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not, but like,
yeah, I guess you just have to keep choking people out.
I know, muffling necks. Yeah. That's all it is.
So Maven, do you do you look back a lot and be like, wow, I have progressed so much in that time, and like what sticks out in your mind as like some big milestones along the way?
Yeah, I think moving gyms. I kind of bounce back and forth between Canberra and Camrose.
Just like as soon as I got away from Travis, man, my game skyrocketed.
So good. No, just kidding. But I think honestly, like cross training and competing as well, going against people who don't know your A game, don't know your B game, they don't know anything, really shows holes in your own game, but it also shows things that you're doing that maybe doesn't work against your teammates, but totally works in competitions.
Oh, really?
So I'm a huge proponent of competing if you can.
It really shows the holes in your game, like you said, and it shows that your game is actually pretty good. Like your A game is usually pretty good. It just doesn't feel that good against the people that you play it against day in and day out, day in and day out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and we have in Camrose, we have a really competitive gym, and some people train like 6-7 days a week.
Whoa.
And it's hard to see if you're progressing against them. But I mean, clearly you are. I think every day you show up, you get slightly better at something, whether it's mental or physical or.
And like your friend that was here before was talking about how different it is to go to different gyms, and like he pointed out like, oh, this is a lot of people here play a really top heavy game, and or like a pressure heavy game, I should say, and I've only visited a couple other gyms, but yeah, the attitudes, the approaches, it's pretty cool to get that in. Hey,
I was training at another gym probably a month ago, and the coach there said that he'd been training with my coach Ryan, and working on pummeling his legs. And he's like, I saw you doing, or I did that in the role against him a lot. And he's like, that's so cool to see that like what I was working on with Ryan, you're also doing. And that's maybe the biggest compliment that I've ever gotten in jiu-jitsu, like that I'm actually learning things.
See, other people get compliments. You're just never getting.
Huh,
Yeah.
must be nice.
Or compliment to Ryan for, you know, passing down that knowledge.
Oh, he is.
Even subconscious stuff like pummeling legs.
He really is a great teacher. He came down for a grappler syndicate and taught at one of those, and it was awesome. I love learning from him, and he's actually like a great student of the game, because he was like, he knows that I play leg locks a lot, so he just had a whole bunch of questions, and I was like asking him questions because he was showing like some leg drag stuff, guard pass, and I was like, ooh, I like that. So I'm asking him questions, and he's asking me about like other leg lock entanglements, and just a great student of the game. Awesome competitor too. Like when he's on his A game, he's a handful. Like if you watch any footage of him, he kicks ass. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Very, very IBJJF though.
Yeah.
And if you listen to the podcast, I mean, we shit on them quite a bit, but like the IBJJF, but realistically it's a great competition. It teaches you how to move through the progression of jiu-jitsu. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think if you follow IBJJF rule set when you're starting out and learning, you have a very solid foundation.
totally.
I mean, you'll, you know, not get swept super easily. You'll learn some basic passes, and you know, not it does lead to boring jiu-jitsu, and I completely agree with that.
Yeah. And your leg lock game is diminished because you can't play it, but you know, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, it happens. But get me on top, man.
Yeah. Honestly, like that headquarters that you were talking about, you're hitting on me. I was like, this is legit. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you.
What are some of the like tools that you use? You know, we talk a lot about journaling, you know, making sure that you're writing things down, having specific goals laid out, long-term, short-term, mid-term. You know, what are some of the tools that you've used that you felt have really kind of helped you get to where you are?
Yeah, I think when I started out jiu-jitsu and training at Dark Horse, obviously the journaling and everything was really emphasized, and that totally helped me. And I think the curriculum also really helped me when I first started out. It helped me like categorize stuff into more logical stuff, because jiu-jitsu can be grouped into a lot of different ways. And then as I've kind of progressed, it's gotten more fluid in my understanding of it. Like I'm not like, oh, I'm just learning an armbar today. It's like, how do I link this to other stuff? And you know, yeah, so I think that was really helpful at the start. And then now I think teaching has really helped me. So when I'm like, I'm really struggling with my Kimura trap game, I'm going to teach that in my women's class for the next like 3 or 4 weeks. Maybe not 4 weeks, that's a long time, but
It's a lot of
the next 2 weeks anyways. And so then I'll do a bunch of research on it, and then the questions that, or like things that the ladies are struggling with, I'm like, wow, I don't know the answer to that. And so then I dig into it more and get more of those little details that maybe I do subconsciously and don't know that I'm doing. So then when somebody stops it from happening, I don't know that I need to make sure my knee is actually in this position or something like that. So yeah, teaching has really helped me dial in a lot of the fundamentals and the basics, which are so critical.
I love that. I love how you worded that. Teaching, like, well, I got thrown into it as we've said it before, but like as a 3-stripe white belt, which is absolutely insane and stupid. Like it shouldn't work. But it makes you retain stuff, and it makes you like go and figure it out before you teach it. Or if you're teaching, you get like that person to always ask questions, and you're just like, I don't know. And then I often say it at the end of class. I'm like, if I don't know an answer to your question, I'm not going to give you some bullshit. I'm going to go and like see what everyone's doing. I'm going to go watch it, just a crazy amount of tape, and like watch matches of the highest level people and be like, okay, there's that position. Then I'll go forward, rewind, see what they're doing. Then I'm like, okay. And then I'll beat up Max with it. And then like all the blue belts, I'll beat them up, and then I'll be like, okay, feel confident in this.
But just circling back to your goal setting, I think one of the things that's really helped me as well is having like really small and really attainable goals. So at one of my competitions, I got armbarred a ton. And I mean, it's kind of a big goal, but like, I was like, I need to learn everything there is to know about arm bars. So I'm going to try and do only arm bars to people. And I'm going to let people get arm bars positions on me. And especially people who are not as good as you. Because then you can.
So Emmett.
Yeah, then you can let it get,
yeah.
you know, like 80-90% of the way and then fight out of those spots or tap, and that's okay too. And I think especially for like developing a new game against people who, you know, are newer but you feel safe with, I often will try things. So I've been playing recently with like an overhook from close guard or half guard and doing transitions to the back if they move their arm bars, crowbars, that whole sequence, omoplatas. And so I'll do that against people who are either smaller than me or not as good as me. Because sometimes when you fail, you end up in a worse spot, but that's okay against some of those people. And then it also gives them a chance to work as well once they get past it.
I haven't done an omoplata in a long time. I used to be like, I'm going to do these all the time. And then I just like, some things just go by the wayside, you know? Sometimes
you totally
just lose
forget about them. And then you do one, you're like, this is amazing.
That's one of those deep dive moments when you hit it. You're like, oh yeah, that thing's there, and then you just really start to just work it over and over. And you're like, this is what I want to do now.
Yeah,
and that's what I've done with that with like the front headlock system because my guillotine sucks. I've hit one, and so I was like, okay, how else can I hit these from positions I'm good at, like darce? I'm good at darce, so I was like, oh, I'll just switch it up a little bit, and like. I deep dive for months, and like everyone that I rolled with, I was just like going after that neck, lose the neck, go after the neck, lose the neck. I was like, oh, but it's a great way to develop your game, going back and forth, losing, but also finding little minute details that you might not have if you didn't deep dive into it.
Yeah, or do your move of the day that you're trying to hit, and then just let them do whatever they want.
Yeah. Sometimes that move of the day thing, it's weird how sometimes certain moves stick. You know, like you're like, that makes sense to me. Like whatever that was 3 months ago now, we did that north-south choke.
Yeah.
And now it's like in heavy rotation for me. Like, because it just makes sense, you know, like because I'm a big guy, side control is I wind up there a lot, and then it's like, oh, you just boop over north south. So yeah, it's weird how things just enter your rotation.
Yeah.
You know?
I would also encourage people to listen to their coach. If their coach says, hey, I think this would fit really well with your game plan and your style. Full disclosure, when I learned headquarters, which is like my A game now, Ryan was like, I think you really need to work on headquarters a lot. And I was like, Ryan, there's not a chance. This is not my style. This is not my game. I'm not doing it. And then like 3 months later, I was like, hey, Ryan, have you heard about this whole headquarters thing? It's really great. And he's like, I did, Maven.
Blue belts, I tell you.
That's why like I'm dreading the day when Travis is like, time to start working on leg locks. Don't be like, oh no.
You just have to tell him he's right about something. That's how you get your next belt, next stripe,
I
stuff
refuse
like that.
Yeah, this is never gonna happen. So never
refuse. Absolutely not. But you know, going back to your point about teaching, there was a while there. My daughter seems to have kind of chosen gymnastics for the time being over jiu-jitsu, which is fine. But she was here for a while, and I was helping with the kids class, and we have an awesome guy who helps out with the kids class. Who I think he's a brown belt, right, in judo.
Oh, Wes,
Coach Wes,
dude, he's a killer on the feet.
And he knows all these throws and
the Japanese names for him. He's like saying these. He's like, yeah. So I don't Oshikoshi or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just said, I'm like, I don't know what that is. He's like, you have Japanese tattooed on your arm. I'm like, yeah. I don't know the names of the throw. Like, tell me it in English. Hip throw? Yeah. Okay, I know that. And then he's like, drop say nagi. I was like,
right.
I kind of know that. And then he shows me. I was like, oh yeah, I know how to do that one.
That one sounds familiar.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't know, but he knows like everything about it. I'm like, oh.
He knows so much. And then just from a couple of those hip throws, from running through it with the little kids, you know,
and it's just hip throwing little kids,
like just showing them, you know, like I'm good at hip throwing little kids now.
I practice all my wrist locks on them, so.
but like now, I'll hit a hip throw, like you know, in real rolling because I just did it 100 million times with little kids. I put a lot of them in the hospital, but you know, it was worth
it. Yeah.
They signed the waiver.
They signed the waiver. Yeah. How you like that?
Yeah. 2 points.
Yeah, but some of these kids, man, they are so good.
Yeah.
We have a few that like I'm just watching them develop, and like they take it as play, which is awesome because they start to like they develop a lot faster in a play mode. And I'm just like, if you stick with this, you are going to be an absolute monster to deal with in like 2 years. And they're just like, yay high. Like,
yeah. I mean, one of
crazy.
The actual best person in our gym at jiu-jitsu is not Ryan. It's actually this little girl.
Suck it.
And yeah, and she's like 7 years old, weighs basically nothing. And like I showed her one move. She hit it on everybody, including me, pretty legitimately on me, actually, which was scary. And like she just kills it at tournaments and moves so well.
Like fluidly.
So fluidly. Transitions are crazy. Just like such a solid foundation. There's nothing that catches her out. It's crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, this next generation, it's scary. And I wish I started when I was 4.
I wish I started when I was 30 instead of 45. But you know, hey, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. It's crazy. Like I started seeing that I think as a purple belt, and I went up to complete. So that was when Guy was still teaching up there. Yeah. And he had this little 12-year-old kid. And a little funny backstory. He asked me because he knew me from tournaments, but not a lot of people knew me at that time, especially in no-gi. If I wore my gi, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, the orange gi guy." But I was in no-gi. He's like, "Hey, can you do me a favor and like pretend that you're a white belt?" And then so I'm like pretending I'm a white belt, and people are teaching me how to shrimp and how to bridge and all this other stuff. And then like came time to roll, and I'm just like wrecking them, and you just see like their faces go, "What? You liar." And like they got so offended by it, and me and Guy were laughing about it. But anyways, there's this little 12-year-old kid, and he's like ripping heel hooks, and he's doing Imanari rolls like
whoa,
like so smoothly. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna stay away from that little guy. And I'm a purple belt.
Yeah.
And he's like maybe 85 pounds, 90 pounds. I'm like, this kid is gonna be killer. I don't know. I think he moved away. I don't know where he is now. But like when I was watching him as a purple belt, I was like, nah, that kid will like destroy my knees.
Yeah.
Mostly destroy my ego.
Oh, I wouldn't mind that. Okay. But like he was constantly in this comp mode, and I was up there, and like I was probably injured. I'm always injured, but I was like looking at him like, man, this kid is killing people. It was awesome. That's
really cool.
I was just enthralled. Like I think I skipped like 2 rounds. It's rare for me to skip a round, but I was just like watching him roll because it just came natural to him, it seemed. I was like asking Guy, and I was like, what's this kid's background? He's like, he's just been training since he was 3.
Whoa.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
That's cool.
He doesn't even think about it.
Yeah.
No. And like and then he ran warm-ups on the second day because I was up there for 2 days, and like the second day they all knew that I actually knew how to do jiu-jitsu, and they're like, oh no, you're not tricking us this time. But then the little kid ran the warm-up, and he's doing like, okay, now we're gonna start, and we run, and then we leap forward, do a forward roll, come up into this thing. I was like, what? This is warm-up? Get out of here.
This is advanced moves.
Yeah, and this is like an all levels class. I'm like, nah, I'm tired. I'm tired from watching you do this, kid.
At the wrestling class that we have here, when they're like, okay, we're going to do like all that kind of stuff in the warm up, you know, like we're going to leap and somersault. And I'm like, dude, no, I'm going to lie on my back. Like
I'm going to wrestle like a 45-year-old and lay on my back, and you just get points.
Yeah.
I will pull guard. Thank you.
Yeah. So question for you. So a while back, we had an episode that we talked about sort of, I guess, how jiu-jitsu helps you evolve outside of the sport itself. Any thoughts about like how you have changed as a person as a result of your jiu-jitsu journey? Like what has it done for you, kind of thing?
Yeah, I think first of all, it's helped me through some really tough times. Like I lost my dad to cancer this year, which is Sorry, now I'm gonna get emotional.
It's okay.
But it was super awful. And jiu-jitsu kind of got me through that, which was really sweet, along with other things too. But yeah, so that's one side of thing, like the emotional support
Yeah.
and having all your friends around.
Community. Yeah.
It's such a big thing. And then like in other aspects of my life, I think I've always kind of had stick-to-itiveness in sports and in other things, but jiu-jitsu really emphasizes that. I mean, I think you lose more than you win in jiu-jitsu, whether that's in the training room or in competitions, or it feels like you lose more than you win. But I think just keeping on showing up even when you feel like that, and other people also feel like that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy. Like, I don't think anyone goes to jiu-jitsu and feels like, I wrecked everybody today and I'm so much better than I was yesterday. So that's awesome.
You're talking to Emmett on the Emmett show. Just letting you know,
Yeah.
he feels awesome all the time.
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
I wreck everyone.
Yeah. All the time. I mean,
so humble.
Yeah.
Yeah. In our last episode, we were talking about how jiu-jitsu, not so much, and maybe in the rest of your life, but definitely in jiu-jitsu, if you want to progress, you have to redefine what winning and losing means. And I feel like that's sort of the same thing. It's like I'm not losing, I'm learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. And it's also really nice to have an outlet, like a place to go where, I mean, there's always people who talk about where like cops and drug dealers all come together and they're all kind of on the same playing field. And it's totally true. Like everyone just shows up and we're all there to train and help each other learn.
Yeah.
I found like, cause like I lost my mom just over a year ago, and it was like I couldn't stay away from the mats. I needed to come here so that like I could shut off my brain for that little bit.
It's the only thing that works.
Yeah, and I was just like, I just need that, and like I think I competed like a week after that, like for Skunkworks, and I was just like, I felt like shit. I hadn't slept, but I was like, you know what, I gotta compete because I said I was going to, and it was just one of those things that kept my mind in a positive realm rather than just deep diving into like the dark realm, and you're just like shit. But like jujitsu and the community and like it was amazing. It was really good to help me through everything. So I understand that from that point of view. The one thing I didn't like when I was at Skunkworks, everyone was like, it's like death is one of those things that's like you don't really talk about it or anything like that. And so many people like, oh, I'm so sorry, and like they're just like, and then Christian from Rocky, he just comes up and he's like the most straightforward dude I've ever met in my life. He's like, sorry that your mom died, and then like gave me like a little pat on the back. He's like, I'm so proud of you for being here. I was like, sweet, thank you. And that was like the coolest like little like thing I had that entire day because everything else just sucked. But like that little reaction of him acknowledging it, but not being like coddling, I guess, or anything like that. I don't know. For me, that was what I was like, sweet, that's what I needed. Got me through everything, kept me going forward. But the community, training, all this stuff for myself, it sounds like for you for a little bit there, helps get people through this.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's kind of part of the routine too. Like I'm used to showing up to jiu-jitsu like 3 or 4 times a week. So it just kind of felt normal. And then you totally can forget about all of the other problems in the world for just an hour. It's hard to focus on your problems when you're being choked.
Yeah.
Or mufflered.
Yeah. You're just like, oh man, this is more important at the moment.
And that's the thing, like going to the gym and working out, your mind's like, because you're just lifting things, and then it's like I always draw the comparison to like surfing and jiu-jitsu, where it's like you're in a intense enough context scenario where you can't think about other things. So it's like, yeah, you can drink or you can do drugs or you can watch TV, but like when you do something like jiu-jitsu, you're present in that moment. You're not just like escaping, you're learning, you're breathing, you're feeling better. Like
I describe it as meditative, really.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
And like you can just zone. You're just like,
I mean, Max didn't seem that meditative today when you were mufflering him for like.
He was grunting a lot.
Yeah. Maybe that's how he like exhales. Maybe that's his meditative, like his yoga breath.
Yeah.
Now you have to do a yoga breath. Maybe that's his yoga breath. Who knows? I don't know.
Your parents, have they been pretty supportive? You know, did your dad know about jiu-jitsu, and was he kind of following your journey on that?
I mean, he was supportive of everything that I did,
Yeah.
except for not becoming an engineer
Okay.
in my life. No, he was quite supportive. Yeah, they were always like cheering for me, which was nice. I don't think they fully understood it.
Mhm.
And I remember being like, when I first got into it, I was like, Mom, we gotta like roll on the grass. And she's like, okay. So she's like, I don't think jujitsu's for me.
He's like frolic in the grass. What are we doing?
In the grass again. I'm like, it's so fun. She's like, I don't think I like getting kicked in the face by accident. I'm like,
Yeah.
sorry, Mom.
It's amazing that the kicks in the face still happen. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, but I think it's so cool. And they come and cheer me on at competitions and stuff, which is cool. And they're definitely not there every day, and I wouldn't want them there every day, but it's cool for them to see, you know, like probably 2 or 3 times a year I'll post show them videos of me competing, or they'll be there and watch it. So yeah, it's cool to share that with my family. And actually my brother trains jiu-jitsu as well.
Oh, really?
And I've never rolled harder than when I roll against my brother.
Yeah.
And we started around the same time, so for the longest time it was like he would win because he's obviously bigger than I am.
Younger or older?
He's younger than me.
Okay.
But he's like probably 6 feet tall and 180 pounds or something. Okay. And I'm not 6 feet tall and 180 pounds. And then he's not as dedicated as I am. I am very dedicated, but he
sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of sucks. So then he's like taking time off. So he's a 3-stripe white belt now. And I just got my purple belt as we mentioned, which is kind of a big deal. No. Anyways.
I'm surprised you're not all in purple, because that's how you showed up that when I was like, wow, are you a purple belt?
Sparkly purple headband, purple grill.
Like the purple the purple rash.
Like purple lowrider parked outside.
I'm working on gathering my fleet. But yeah, so now I roll with my brother, and although he's bigger and stronger than I am, I definitely out technique him. But yeah, he tries hard, and if he gets me in a knee twist, man, like I'm game over.
That's cool. I understand that, like, sibling. Like, if my brother trained, it'd be give no inch, spare no quarter. I'd be all in. I'd be like, you are not getting a single thing on me ever. Like, I'm gonna wreck you every single time, and it'd just be as hard as possible. I could see that.
The sibling rivalry, even in the gym between the kids, is amazing. I love to watch it.
That's great.
Yeah, like the kids, when like they see their like we have 2 little ones, and they're sitting there and they'll watch each other, and then they're like, I'm gonna do better than that, and like they start going harder, but they level up so much quicker when they're doing that too. So it's cool to see that.
Yeah, you see that in a lot of sports where there's especially twins that they'll just push each other, you know. We had a roll today, and I was saying about how after our roll, how I have to really try and be cognizant of not just using size when someone's smaller, because like I know you're better than me, but like I in order to learn, I want to like not just be like crush. I guess, what's it like as someone who is female, maybe slightly smaller than probably a lot of big guys in your gym? Any words of wisdom about that?
Yeah, so I actually got some good advice recently, and it was somebody as a black belt, and he said, you know, like, you're very flexible, which is totally a strength in jiu-jitsu, but it can also be a disadvantage, and it can hold you back because you might rely on it in certain cases, and then when you're rolling against somebody with equal flexibility, like that could really be a challenge that you're not used to. And he said, and you can also get put into some awful positions where you're really out of your range of motion. And I was like, those are valid points. But so I think like you every person has their strengths. They have their, whether it's background in wrestling, or they're flexible, or they're strong, or they're bigger. And so you can use that when you're rolling, and that's totally okay to do.
Yeah.
And it's also important to know what it is, because that can also hold you back in the biggest way.
Right.
So if you're bigger than me and you just spend the whole round laying on top
Yeah.
of me, neither of us is going to learn anything, and that's okay. Like,
Yeah.
I don't mind. And people do that. But if you want to learn something and want me to let you work in different ways than you normally would, then maybe don't lay on top of me the whole time.
Yeah, totally.
But if you want to practice your top pressure, like, sure, I'm all for it. So I think it's important to know what your strengths are, because they can also hold you back.
Right. Like today, Pierre was like, he was like, my knee kind of hurts. Can you just sort of, if we're gonna roll, can you just kind of stay on top and just put pressure the whole time? And I'm like, that's exactly what's gonna happen anyways. Sure, no problem. Like,
And it's like, is there any other jujitsu?
is there some other way? But yeah, no, I think that's a really eloquent way of putting it, which is, it's not like I'm doing you a favor by not putting pressure on. I'm doing myself the favor by allowing some other situations to play out.
Absolutely.
Especially because she comes from a different gym, different
Mhm.
look. It's really cool to have that and be like, oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
you move differently than everyone here, so it's,
Yeah. Or
it's
I've,
fun.
I've excuse me, I have different answers to some of the situations as well.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I need to try that. Like, I've definitely been watching, like, oh, that's a cool answer to that problem. So
Yeah. Is there any like specific people that you follow or resources that you would say are great to tap into?
The
Anyone?
Dark Horse YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
I was actually going to say anyone that you look up to, not Travis.
I exclusively watch the Dark Horse. Oh, just kidding. I mean, yeah, like, I've been kind of slow on the draw to follow jiu-jitsu people in our community, mostly because I'm really bad at social media, despite being a Gen Z person.
Yeah.
But no, Fionn Davies, she's
Yeah.
incredible, man. Like, I've watched so much of her stuff. I have kind of single-handedly developed my knee cut off of her stuff.
Yeah, we've mentioned that on the podcast
basic
before.
knee cut.
Yeah.
Because her opponent was like, oh yeah,
What are
as
you
if
gonna
she's gonna do
do?
it,
Knee cut me?
And then she like wore a shirt as like basic knee cut bitch or something. And I was like,
That's
and
awesome.
that's all she did. Like, oh
Yeah, she knee cut her like 5 or 6 times in the fight. Ended up winning because of the knee cut.
That's so
she
awesome.
just destroyed her. It was awesome.
Yeah,
And in the way that she was getting made fun of. So I was like,
lean into it.
Yeah.
Having a good knee cut is not a bad thing. Yeah, so like, she's so badass.
Cool.
I love her. Travis, for sure, definitely one of my inspirations.
He's very inspirational.
Yeah.
True.
I follow this guy named Emmett, the
Yeah.
Black and Blue podcast.
Oh man,
Gives some
that
good
guy-
advice sometimes.
That guy is just great. I heard he won a roll one time.
I don't know when that would have been.
No, it's kids class. That's what
When
it
he
was.
pissed off.
Locked up.
Just like in a row, bam, bam, bam.
Go home, you're like, oh yeah. Well,
I think here's my thing though. So it's cool to learn from all of these experts. Like, let's say you have a really sweet knee cut now, but also sometimes their games don't totally go together. So let's say you're playing a certain style of half guard from somebody, and then you're learning some other half guard from somebody else. It doesn't
Right.
always feed into each other.
Right.
They're not like interchangeable always, and so it's important to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And they're both really valuable, but just to know that kind of in the back of your head, like, I can't, if I'm doing this system, I have to keep with this system.
That's
And if I'm doing
really interesting point. Yeah.
yes, and it's all good, and you can incorporate it and bridge some of those gaps, but it's like playing inside guard and then also being like, yeah, De La Hiva is my favorite. It's like, well, they don't work together. If you want to play
Right.
De La Hiva when they're standing, then you have to play close guard when they're on their knees. You can't like switch to then butterfly guard, for instance. So
Yes, I agree with all those things that I also know a lot about.
you just went way over his head. He's like, Del Hiva?
I
Is
agree
that with an H?
Yeah, that's because those people that you're following have spent so many years developing that intricate game, and it is oftentimes it's sequence based, right? So it's like you can't just sort of mix and match and hope it's going to work out. Yeah, I've actually never heard someone put it that way. That's
Yeah.
super interesting.
yeah, you just have to create funnels in your game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and sometimes you pick up little things here and there, which is awesome. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I actually do is pick up little things here and there. Hope they work out. Yeah. How are we on time? We're gonna
We got like 4 minutes.
Okay, we got 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, in that case,
we're just gonna do a quick little thing. We have a fighter fighting tonight, so we saw Maven. We had to have her on the podcast, so it might be a little shorter than usual. But yeah, I couldn't pass up the opportunity.
Yeah.
Win in Canmore.
Yeah.
Podcast.
Not Camrose.
Yeah, not Camrose.
It's very confusing for people.
It truly is. I've had a lot of people like, "Oh, where are you?" I'm like, "Canmore," and they're like, "Yeah, we're here." I'm like, "No, you're not, because I'm here."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Camrose, right?" I'm like, "No, Canmore. Come on,
Come on, man." And so I will say, from here on out, this potato quality thing that we're doing, that's done. From here on out, we're moving on up. It's going to be a different ball game. So
This is good goal setting.
Yeah.
Setting your intentions. Very good.
So all of you out there, hold this guy to it, because this computer sucks, as you can tell.
it does work though, and no coffee has been spilled on it. So thank you to this computer for at least being here for us.
Yeah. I actually really like this computer because it hasn't broken on me, and almost all of my electrical anything is just done.
Yeah.
It's like printers. I hate printers.
But Maven, thank you for being here today. It was awesome talking to you. Some really amazing insights. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Any shout outs? We gave Ryan his shout out, and then we
Yeah, I mean, Avon's a savage. I know she has to be shouted out every podcast. We already did mention her, but I had the privilege of actually competing with her at the Submission Ace tournament this past February. So that was
funnest rolls I watched. You guys are going, so that's cool.
Yeah, man, she's so good. I'm excited to keep watching her.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, no, shout out to, I actually would love to shout out CJ at 101 Academy in Calgary as well, who's my professor's professor.
No, that guy sucks. We don't shout out CJ.
Well, I shout out CJ because he has Fatima under him, who's one of the coolest black belts in Alberta and has been so supportive of me in my journey. And I've known her since she was a brown belt, I believe. Now she's a black belt and competing internationally. And she's just been so supportive. And so, yeah, I'm shouting out CJ so that I can shout out Fatima.
Yeah, we'll allow Fatima. That shout out was cool.
Okay.
But CJ,
That's all censored.
Yeah. I'm just gonna like bleep it. I'll be like, I want to give a shout out to and Fatima.
Who was it? Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Travis, any last
No, I think that's good. And yeah, hopefully we have a couple new hoodies and stuff from a possible sponsor for the podcast on the next one without potato quality camera.
We're just rocketing.
We're pretty much famous. I
think so. Yeah.
So other than that, thank you, Maven. Thank you, Emmett. And as always, catch you on the flip side. Maven's gonna say bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to the Black and Blue and sometimes Purple podcast.
There we go.
But only as a guest.